Hi, I'm Vanessa Anderson.
And I'm Stephanie Cooley.
It's time to give ourselves a moment to be real, to express all of motherhood.
Mothering is beautiful. It's wonderful.
And you know what? It's fucked up too.
Come hang out with us. We're the real motherfuckers.
Hello. Welcome everyone back to Real Motherfuckers. Getting real again, and I feel like every episode we get deeper and deeper in what's real and taboo maybe for some of us to talk about or embarrassing. This is episode 4.
Yeah.
Getting in there. Starting to get to know each other even more, and yeah, we're
gonna really get to know
We're gonna get to know each other big time today, and I hope that you can get in touch with yourself, whoever's listening to this, and ask yourself questions, laugh with us, and ponder this subject that's always been taboo.
Yeah, we were talking about sexy times.
And
our bodies after having children.
And then middle-aged sex.
Yeah.
You know, for some of us, you know.
Our kids are 5-8-ish years old, but I still remember all of the right after baby memories.
Oh yeah,
they're kind of burned.
It's
in my brain.
Yeah, here's the other no one ever told me moment, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be another one of those. It's, man, do things change down there a little bit? And some people are like, oh no, it's just fine. Bullshit. Things are done. You just just gave birth to a bowling ball. Some shit's gonna shift, you know?
You had an interesting birth and repair and all of that.
Yeah, so just briefly, I had 4th degree vaginal tears to my clitoris that had to be pretty much
What's
rebuilt.
4th degree?
It means it almost completely tore off my clitoris.
Okay.
Yeah. And because my daughter, when they took her out, they ripped her more forward than behind in the center.
Mm-hmm.
So all of her came forward instead of in the middle.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they pulled her out quick because her heartbeat was going down. But I remember Mother Nature kicking in. I did not feel that part. I did have a home birth.
Yeah.
No, it was after. It's the after moments.
How after?
I would say, honestly, I didn't realize until, like I mentioned on episode 1, when I went to take my shower and I looked down and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't have to bring my chin to my chest. I just put the eyes down there and there was the puffy vagina looking right back saying, I did this for you, girl.
Oh my gosh.
And it was.
You took a shower?
Uh-huh.
I didn't take a shower for a long time. I felt like I couldn't even
Were you stinky?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember showering. I remember having the cowboy walk for a while.
Oh yeah, no, I washed my vajayjay right away. It was warm. It felt good to me.
Yeah. Were you
fresh.
at home?
I was at home, so I get to go.
I was in the hospital.
That makes it different, I feel.
Yeah.
Right.
The sterile setting doesn't make you wanna.
Clorox shower doesn't sound good after you trying to give. Yeah. No, I get it. It was my own funk, my own towels.
Yeah.
It was just right. It was right for us. So then that moment when I looked down, I was like, that was the first question that came to my head was, oh my God, how am I going to have sex with this?
Yeah.
How am I going to, because I had to wash myself so that they could sew me.
Yeah.
So they they took about an hour for them to sew me.
Okay.
They had to really tuck things in and get things going. And,
yeah. Did you see what it looked like with a mirror?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I honestly, before this moment, I was not one, I remember the movie Fried Green Tomatoes where the ladies, I don't know if people have seen it, but there's a moment in the movie where these Southern ladies are trying to get in touch with their feminine side, and there's one point where a lady's like, all right, now everyone take off your undies and put the mirror underneath you. And one lady's like, what the fuck are we doing? I've never had that moment until that moment of after birth where I really got to know my vagina. I just never wanted to see it. I think maybe I was embarrassed to see it.
Yeah.
I thought, oh God, it could be ugly and I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
I
had the same.
You know? I'm like,
I was given the option to put a mirror there when I was pushing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm pretty sure I opted out because I didn't want to see the possibility of poop coming out.
Oh God. Well, it did. You know, he had some kind of rabbit shit coming out just a little bit. You knew he did. You get that little wipe and you just like, oh, okay, they're just cleaning. Yeah, they're cleaning your ass.
This is the thing is because I did it in the hospital and I did an epidural. I didn't feel shit.
Oh my
so
God.
I don't know if I shit, and I'm pretty sure I did.
Oh, totally.
You know, and
Totally.
you know, I will never forget Gabe's face when he looked down because he's like, I'm not gonna look, but he looked.
Yeah,
and I
of
looked
course.
up at him, and he looked down at me, and he had this face of terror.
Like, oh, this
face of terror. But then when he saw me look at him and he saw that I was looking at him, he like immediately tried to fake a smile on his face.
Okay.
He's like, it looks great. It looks great.
Oh my God. No, I think, you know, yeah, like it's crazy that we don't have, and some of us don't have that relationship. I don't know if it's our generation, but we're like we said before, we're between the old school generation that is more like the morals was to kind of don't talk about sex. It was taboo. Sex is wrong. Sexuality is wrong.
Also masturbation and
yeah,
all
masturbation,
of that kind of stuff.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? You're desperate if you masturbate.
Yeah.
I remember even for boys, I remember they mean like, do you masturbate? And people like, no. And then, you know, you're like, yeah, right. You know, but yeah, like masturbation, with all honesty, was not a part of me for a very long time, until maybe like 2 years ago, because I was embarrassed and didn't want to do anything like that. But going back to my vagina recovery, like it took a while. Like I didn't know how the recovery was going to go. My stitches came out like 5 weeks after. And then it was like, okay, the 6-week mark where you're allowed to have sex. And I'm like, oh God.
I remember getting like,
it's
okay now. It's like 6 weeks. And I almost dreaded the okay.
I know. Me too. I didn't want to.
I didn't want to.
And
this is the thing that I wasn't prepared for, was the fact that my body and mind were multiple things at once. Like my body was at that point being used to feed this baby.
Yes.
My body was also my body, but I didn't feel attached to it because it was this feeding machine. And then also all of a sudden 6 weeks later, it's like my body, am I supposed to have it be like sexual too? I remember also like being very confused about, I have small breasts, and then for once I had large breasts that looked very nice and full, but they felt zero sexual. I didn't want anyone to touch my boobs, besides my baby. I didn't even really like, they were so tender.
Yes.
And so,
especially when that major milk comes in, it's like, don't touch me, just let it out, you know. I wonder if Mother Nature does that on purpose, where it's like, you need to heal right now, you have one baby, concentrate. I wonder if it has to, if there's the physical is part of the mental, you know what I mean? We think it's so disconnected, but I'm starting to see that it's not. I'm like, maybe Mother Nature was like, chill out for a bit.
Yeah.
You can't get don't bone, because you're gonna get pregnant. You just had one.
I think we tried it because I was curious too, of like, how is this gonna be? And I remember, oh my, it was so not romantic because our baby was sleeping in our room. Okay, right? And we were starting to like, okay, let's try. And then, you know, the baby crib is right next to the bed. Yes. So then we went into the closet, which made it so much worse. So we went into the closet, and I remember going, like, laying on our closet floor. I'm like, is this how it's gonna be?
Is this motherhood sex? Is this the way it's gonna roll?
I had this moment of like, okay, did I poop during having the baby? Is he thinking about
it when it
out? Is he thinking about the poop coming out? And then also I was like, okay, let's just do it. And then it hurt so bad. It felt like someone stabbing me.
It does. It just does.
Yeah. And then that was it. It was just like stabbing motion. And then I was like, nah.
Oh yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah. Let's
try again.
It felt
never.
It's like, yeah, I feel like it's like reintroducing your vagina to it is like it's like starting over when you lost your virginity.
Yeah.
You know how it took, for some of us like 5 to 10 times before you're like, oh, this is what it's all about. Because at first I was like, we got fucked on this deal. Like, these guys are like enjoying the shit out of it, and we're like, oh god, holding on for dear life to like get through it. And then it's like, and then that's how I felt. I'm like, oh my god, how long? And
how long did you wait? The 6 weeks? 5 weeks?
it was this. I think I waited longer. For my first birth, it was 8-ish, and it was agony for me. Like I did not like it. I think I even cried. It was like really embarrassing.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it one bit.
Yeah.
And it was sad to me because I wanted that connection with my husband.
Yeah.
But like you, feeling like, okay, I just rocked my daughter to sleep and she was breastfeeding me, and then here's like an hour later, you're trying to get like with it, and you're like, wait a minute, these titties were used for for eating, now they're going to be used for this. It's like, it's so weird. I didn't even think about that.
It's weird it's hard for me to compartmentalize that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like asking your body to just like unreasonably multitask.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't miss that.
I don't miss it either, but moms listening out there, it'll pass. You have to refine yourself.
Yeah.
And I think, we'll continue talking about rediscovering yourself, not refining yourself, rediscovering your body, your mind. It's going to be constantly shifted, right? Just like it was when we were teenagers. It's a different thing in our 20s.
Yeah.
Late 20s.
Well, and also I think we have a similar perspective in that we've both been with our husbands for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I started dating mine when I was 18.
Yeah, I was 19.
Yeah. So that beginning 18-year-oldness, I don't know, we were always doing it.
Yeah. That's it. We were talking about my husband and I the other day. We're like, remember when we used to have so much sex that like we were both raw? Like we were both like, needed a break after we saw each other because we had a long distance relationship, just a couple hours. So we would like,
that's true.
See each other.
Gabe and I saw each other every day.
Be like 5 rounds, let's go. When we would leave, it'd be like we'd get a week's worth of that teenage sex.
You'd have the cowgirl walk too.
I would be waddling. Yeah, I'd have the waddle. The same waddle after we gave birth, right? So there's that first waddle, the introduction of what's to come, the vaginal waddle. No, it's a beautiful thing to have discovered that part. I feel like it's a gift that I was able to have that young love and physical affection with my husband, you know, and explore that and, carry it into our mid-20s. And then in the 20s, you're kind of like, okay, we need a, what's the next phase in this,
Well, yeah, I was thinking about it's like seasons of, there's been so many times where it's hard when there's also there's a mismatch of someone wanting it more and someone not into it for a season, and figuring that out.
No, totally. I felt like I've always been the hornier one, straight up. Like, I must have been a man in my past life. My husband always tells me, "You're killing me, woman. You're killing me." I don't know. Like, I think it's in our family. Like, we're just like horny rabbits. And I'm very sexual and very sexual with him. And I just, I enjoy it. But the period that I didn't enjoy it was like, during children, like when they were young, because I'm like, are they gonna wake up? They were in my, like babies when they were new, in my room just to make sure they were okay. The crib was right next to us, and it's like, it took away my passion for it because I felt watched. I felt like I had to be a watcher while I was, or am I being watched? And I also have to watch out for them. Like it was this like, am I gonna get caught by my child? Even now, like, are they asleep? Put on the sound machine. Like there's steps to make sex happen.
There are steps. And I remember there's been so many, like, it's hard too because there's been many bouts where I didn't feel like it for various reasons. I mean, like, life gets in the way,
tired.
And sometimes you put that as like the last thing, or I did put it as the last thing, like I have this respiratory disease that got in the way a lot. I always just felt like shit. And then also like hormonal imbalances. I felt like I was going crazy. And then also my anxiety and depression. It was just like all of these waves of things I had to navigate, and also want to have this like special physical connection with my husband.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure. No, and it makes sense that you didn't want to because, your hormones have to be on. Like you have to be balanced to want to do that. And if you're going to truly have a passionate connection, in my opinion, I feel like the time it's the best is when you're both on. It means you're both balanced, you're both present.
Yeah.
That's when you do have that connection. It's when you do have the fun, sexy time where it's like you want to high five them, you're like, woo, it's like, and when you're not, it's almost robotic.
Have you heard of people, I don't think we do this, but people who schedule their sex?
Oh, good Lord.
Because it's like, naturally it's like, oh, at the end of the day, nighttime, it's romantic, like, but if we wait till nighttime, I'm dead.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
7 p.m. for you, right?
Yes.
Like, you're like, book this.
Yeah.
Life's done at 7 p.m.
I put my kids down and I'm like,
it's my turn too. Well, honestly, for me, it's whenever we used to kind of do that. And then we realized it was no more fun.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to do that. Now it's like flirting throughout the day for me. Like we were talking about earlier, like that touch to the arm and just like gazing at him.
Yeah.
And then like maybe he spanks my butt when no one's looking, those touching moments.
Spanking the butt. Yeah.
It's like that leads up to, something's going to happen here. Or maybe it doesn't and it carries on into the next day. And then that's when it becomes even more juicy. You're like, we've been touching each other for a day. It's time for this to happen. And it could be that passionate moment and not even your bedroom. It's switching your locations. I think switching locations makes it less robotic.
Oh, switching locations.
Switching locations. It doesn't always have to be in your room.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be in your bed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Bake some cookies and see what happens.
Floor.
Bake some cookies and see what happens, if you don't have any neighbors at home, just saying. I can't do that here, but just, you just never know. There's just like in yoga, we feel like karma's not just what you reap with what you sow. It's like try practicing yoga in a different spot. Try sitting at a different position in your table, and it changes your experience. It's like, well, wouldn't it change your experience if you'd never done it where it's sunny or where there'll be a different sensation somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just a little, that's not our tip, but that's just something that I've experienced where it's enhanced. It's enhanced our sexual experience, I would say.
Yeah.
But one thing that Steph and I always joke about, and I want to bring it up now because I think it's hilarious. And this is like what I think brought us together, which is I think quite funny about us being okay to talk about these personal things, was vaginal dryness. Right?
Yes.
So Stephanie was like, hey, what's next? I'm all, what? Our vaginas are going to get dry. I'm all, what? She's like, yeah, I heard that when you get older, your vagina gets dry.
I remember, it was a text chain between me and my sisters and my mom. And they were texting and I didn't respond because I had like a weekend of awful, awful cramps and I was on my period. And I texted that. I was like, sorry guys, I've been MIA. I'm on my period. It's terrible. And my mom texted back, was like, you're lucky to have a period. She's like, just wait until you go into menopause. She's like, it's going to be dry. Your man's going to want some and it's going to be dry. I'm like, what? What's happening? Why is mom talking about this? And why is it going to be dry?
The drought comes. Let the drought come. It's like our Southern California, our climate here. It's either dry as hell or as wet as can be. So I was kind of doing a little research on this, and clevelandclinic.org actually had an article on vaginal dryness. So I'm going to read just a little portion that I thought was fun, kind of just interesting.
It's fun.
And it's funny. And it's fun. Yeah, I'll just say it's fun. I'm weird. Okay? I'm weirdly enjoy this kind of facts. Vaginal dryness is a painful symptom that many people may experience at some point during their lives. So not only is it embarrassing because you can't get wet, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Yay. Invest in that lube.
Drink water, actually.
No, okay, yes. My cousin that, is lesbian, she gives me some amazing vagina tips.
Okay.
She's like, drink water. hydrate if you want to get it on. She goes, because when the vagina's not hydrated, shit smells
It
bad.
stinks.
Nothing flows down
Yeah.
there. She's like, drink water. So her and
You
our
know how we're always like, you should drink so many
Yeah.
ounces of water a day
Yeah.
for health? No. It's so your vag doesn't stink.
Yeah, no fish market. No Seattle fish market. So yeah, so her and our jokes, you know, we would look at each other if we're in passing, and we're like, cheers to each other when we have water, and we like know what that means. We're like, yeah, our vagina's getting some moisture. So, but the dryness is not just an age thing. It can happen between the ages of 18 and 50, which I was like, oh my God,
That's all of life.
that sucks. Like, so,
Yeah.
but the good news is if it could be changed, it means you just have a hormonal imbalance according to this clinic. So it's saying, hey, add some more estrogen to, there's a lot of foods that have estrogen. I know like edamame has estrogen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot of natural herbs, especially in Ayurveda, which is the kind of like the yoga medicine. If you don't know about it, it's pretty amazing. There's a lot of herbs. Amalaki is a good one for that.
I don't even know what that is. I have to look that up.
Amalaki is amazing. So yeah, it's just, you know, there's ways that you can get through this. And I'm like, I'm going to be drinking lots of Amalaki. And that's what I've been doing. And I'll tell you what, I ain't got none of those dryness problems. I'm a desert girl, and this thing's never been in a drought. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good there. So the Amalaki's working, ladies. And I do like me some non-GMO edamame.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it happens earlier. People just think it's when we're older, but it could happen after your pregnancy. I mean, when you're not sleeping right, your hormones aren't prepared, you know. So it could be that.
And you're stressed out.
Yeah. And you're putting all your moisture in your jugs.
That's true.
You know.
Yeah.
So your vajayjay is going to be the last like thing it wants to kind of sponsor. It's like, sorry, buddy, we got to get some milk and we got to get into your organs. I think your vagina's last on your body's list.
Yeah.
So get that extra drink. That extra drink. So, I mean, how do you feel at this point? You've kind of been talking about a lot of middle-aged stuff, you know, reflecting because Steph here is going to be,
I'm going to be
40 here.
You're already 40.
I'm already there.
You're already there.
I'm kicking it in, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, how do you feel about this sexual peak everyone talks about at this age? I mean,
Well, I remember when you told me about the sexual peak. What age is it?
It's supposed to be like
right now, right?
Well,
30
yeah, they
to
say
45?
it could. It's a big range, 30 to 45. I feel I've been in it the whole time, but lately, woohoo! It's good stuff.
I'm medium right
Medium.
now. I'm medium.
We got to crank that up
I know.
for you.
I don't know
Well,
how
it's
my
still
husband
wet.
feels about the medium.
Well, it's still wet. You better go get it.
I think a lot of times it has to do with my mental capacity. I'm super into like creative mind right now. And just, I've been doing a lot of creative pursuits and like working on myself a lot. And I've been very inward, which I've been loving. And I need to also figure out a way to invite more of the outward stuff, the stuff with my husband, the stuff with my kids and stuff like that. I obviously, you know, I'm there for them.
It'll
but
come. Yeah.
As far as like sexual right now, medium.
Yeah.
It's not like on fire or anything like that. We're definitely having sex. But
yeah. Well, my mind's fire right now.
Yeah.
I'll be
okay,
just
you tell me
up.
about that.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I just feel like I'm just like a lion. I'm like, like I always just think, you know, the man did all the work. Hell no, I am involved. I am bouncing right back, honey.
Also,
like,
but you also don't see Ryan see him all the time.
No, it's a seasonal visit.
Yeah.
So I gotta take it when I can get it, you know. But it's. I just feel like we're in a great place, my husband and I right now, and I feel like that has a lot to do with it. Like we've done a lot of work together.
Yeah.
We try to read the same, you know, self-help, empowering, you know, spiritual, you know, health stuff. We try to encourage each other, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I think when, like you were saying, when you feel connected, you're good. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I want to strangle him, but usually I'm like, well, I'll handle that. Yeah. When it's time to slap uglies, you know what I mean? No,
Mhm.
but he and I will never have angry sex. First of all, like we will never have it.
Yeah.
He is
Oh, no, I
just
don't do that. Yeah.
he is that's just not a thing. Um, but no, I would say I've had the best orgasms of my life. As a matter of fact, like a couple days ago, and my cousin's passing by right now, but I had to tell her, I'm like, I was top 3 for me.
She's walking away now.
That was like top 3 for me. Top 3. Like, honestly, like, I wish I had one of them clickers, like, every time I fucked with my husband, and, like, just, I know that shit would have revolved and gone all the way back to 0, you know, the amount of times you've done it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the top 3 of my clicker for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt so present. Like, usually, you know, on my other senses, I'm kind of looking around. Oh, no, buddy. I was, like, in it. Like,
Yeah.
I think my eyes rolled back, and if we were
Yeah.
in primal times, a lion would have ate my ass. I wouldn't have been looking around for it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I would have been a prey for sure. And it's like I couldn't move. And then it was like likewise. My you know, Ryan felt the same way. Like it was very like we were both kind of like couldn't get up. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh damn. You know, I am not a cigarette smoker, but I'm like, you know, now I understand. Maybe just a little puffy puff. Like, is that the kind of sex that you cigarette smoke with that they used to romanticize?
Maybe.
In the 80s, you know? I feel like that was every sex scene in the 80s was the fucking cigarette.
Afterward,
Yeah,
right?
the
Yeah.
cigarette smoke. But anyway, yeah, no, it's been great. And it's just funny to me. I'm like, how unfair is nature that an 18-year-old man has their sexual peak, you know, between 15 and 18, and here's ours, what, 20 years later?
Mhm.
We're like, now we'll fuck all
Yeah.
the time, you know?
It's hard for me to believe that peak is only during that time for a man. I feel like
I think it has to do with their health. And like and
yeah.
just like us, I think people think that men are these machines that just want to bone, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, man, they got feelings, they got
Yeah.
things that bother them just like us. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to talk about your partner with, to connect and check in. Like, how is that part of our life? Would it be fun to explore something else? Like,
Yeah.
would it be fun? I don't know. Sky's the limit. I'm not saying be you know, unfaithful or anything, but like, what would you like? Do you like the way I do this?
Right?
Asking each other
Talking
questions.
about it.
Yeah.
It's such a thing that I think some people don't do is actually sitting down to talk about it.
Oh my
Rather
God.
it's I think
So
it's an
embarrassing.
uncomfortable thing for some people.
Yeah.
My husband's come to me and was like, let's try to do something different. What do you want to do? And
And it's
Yeah.
kind of hard. Is it hard for you to express it?
yeah, you know, like I would think I was taken aback by it when he initiated it, but I was like, okay, like you know what, like I like that he's wanting to introduce new
Yeah.
things. I mean, we've been together for a long time.
Yeah. And please
And, like,
yourself.
and I see it as like him wanting a deeper connection too.
Yeah.
It's
a
so
beautiful
I
thing.
appreciated the let's do something.
Let's do something.
Yeah.
Get that outfit.
Yeah.
Get some batteries.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
You know, and it might not even be that. It might be like you've been together and maybe you guys kind of go to it's like some people, and I've fallen into this too when I was tired and not really into sex so much. It's like a routine thing. Like, I'm lying on my back now.
Mhm.
Now I know I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how about you fucking throw them down and
Yeah.
just, you know,
Yeah,
like you're
yeah.
in charge, or just that one moment, or there's make some more anticipation, you know, like there's so many things you can do that don't involve batteries or outfits or anything external. It's you connecting in a different way. It's fun, you know, make it fun. Sex should be fun. It should be playful.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And it should also, you know, it can be romantic. It can
Yes.
be, there's so many levels to it.
There's so many levels. Comes down to maybe we can talk about my tip. Just the tip.
I love your tip today.
Okay.
Just give that just the tip.
My just the tip is to put just the tip in. But I remember I had a therapist and I think we had like an afternoon discussion, and she was like, have you touched your husband today? And I was like, that sounds silly. Like, duh.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, I don't know if I touched my husband.
Like, just
you know,
even a
because
hand on the back.
we're just in the raising kids, jobs, doing the things with the house, you know, everything.
The pets,
like
getting lunches
yeah.
ready, getting ready for work.
I'm like, I don't think I did. I don't think I've looked at my husband in the eye, touched his, you know, gave him a hug or like touched his hand. And she was like, I think your thing that you should try to do is make an effort to touch your husband. It sounds so simple and so silly, but I would be I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of people listening realize like, oh, maybe I haven't in this like life of motherhood and marriage and all of that. It's like
rushing to do
the next thing that we forget to actually just physically touch our partners.
Totally. And so can I ask you, like, when you wake up, do you wake up at different times where you don't connect in the beginning? And is that
So we both wake up at 5.
Okay.
And I think also some mornings we cuddle before we get up.
Yes.
Some mornings I think we're just struggling to wake up, that like he has to like jump out of bed to get up or else he won't get up. And then after that, like we don't see each other. So then we've made it an effort to, when we see each other in the kitchen, when the kids are awake and we're all in the kitchen together, we have to like pause and be like, oh, hey, hi.
Good morning. Love you.
Hi, we live together.
Yeah.
Let's and that's the other thing is my husband and I are not naturally affectionate people in front of people.
You're not PDA.
We're not PDA. And we've both talked about how we need to make an effort, and we do. We make this effort of showing affection in front of our children.
That's so important.
Because I want them to see like this is a normal thing.
Yeah.
And
it's
showing
a healthy form of touch between a parent,
exactly.
Mother and a
healthy,
father.
safe form of touch. And so the tip is touch your partner.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to mean you're like groping his nuts.
Don't
like,
be like,
you can. Yeah, you don't touch him with the finger like it's a fucking raw piece of meat. Like make eye contact. Yeah.
Eye contact. Hold each other's hand.
Rub their back. Give them a little slap when no one's looking.
My husband loves a back scratch.
See?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. We have that's what separates us from a lot of the beings that we share this planet with, is that intimacy. You know what I mean? Well, I guess my connection or tip of the day is it's also connecting with yourself physically.
Yeah.
Like I was brought up, where my morals and the values were, bad to touch, bad to have sex. It wasn't meant to be pleasure. Like pleasure is equal guilt.
You have sex to make babies.
Yeah. And I totally, I was planning to really I was very, very serious about being a virgin until I got married, and I was on my way. Gotta say, I was pretty prudy. Like, like I was very prudy. At some point in high school, I was like the prize to try to get. I'm not even lying. And that felt really horrible. Like that someone would use that. But to just so that I feel like that was also part of it. Like, oh my God, I'm like a game to somebody and it means something to me. So I think that had to also do
morbid,
isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I also, I don't know, so then to me, like even exploring myself down there was like, this is taboo. And then in our generation, like in the 90s, I feel like masturbation was starting to be explored, but it was like, you're desperate if you masturbate. I feel like that was the message, right? Like you're desperate, you can't get any.
Especially girls and masturbating. That was like, I feel like the normalization.
I didn't even know how to do it.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I did not know how to do it.
Well, and there is no one way to do it. There's no like 10 ways to do it.
I know. Now I'm knowing.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, honestly, and I even talked to this with my husband. He's like, you never masturbated before we got married? I'm like, no. I'm like, it's sad, but it's true. Like, I didn't. And I will raise my hand that it's been like 2 years where I feel like I finally have explored that part of me, and it's been fun.
Yeah.
And I was embarrassed when I started, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. But, shared it with my husband, which he loves, he thinks it's hot. And he's like been wanting me to do this for 20 years.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's I'm thinking maybe that has made me full circle be so good at sex now. Yeah. Like I'm relieving that.
Yeah.
I'm like releasing that guilt. I'm like, you know what? Like we've talked about, the season that we've had with spring and I feel like the 40s is our, we're a ripe tree, honey, and we are juicy. And we are hot.
The sap is just dripping out.
And it is just like your body's like, get pregnant. It's almost time for you not to get pregnant. So it's like, our body's like, do it. And I do feel that. But I also feel this sexual renaissance. And after doing that, like I really do, I feel a sexual renaissance of liberation and peace. And because my husband's gone all the time, let's be real, like I would like sex every 4 to 5 days. And if he's gone for like 2-3 weeks, something's gonna happen.
Gosh, I forget that he's gone for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it could be like
Yeah.
sometimes it's month, you know, for some women with military husbands or, you know,
even
some
more
fire service.
Even more of a reason to explore yourself.
Even more.
Yeah.
And you know, you should connect with yourself that way. You know, it's a part of you. It really is. And it's fun. Don't be embarrassed. Give yourself a little bath and then just see how it goes.
Yeah.
That's my little just tip.
All right.
Yeah. So you know, once we're going to, you know, hopefully people will start messaging us with questions or suggestions at this point.
Yeah.
You know, and topics and
Yeah.
ask us questions. And it can be prior podcasts and we can bring it forward. I think it's great if anyone else has any suggestions or information about what we talked about to bring it forward. It'd be fun to share. So yeah, we're excited. Thank you guys.
Thanks for listening and watching. For those who are watching.
Yeah, you can watch us. You can watch the expressions. I feel like that adds.
Yeah.
So
I'm a very expressive person.
Yeah. Well, until the next. Yeah. Be real, motherfuckers.
Do you know where your meat comes from? We do. Our sponsor, White Barn Wagyu, guarantees sustainably raised beef. You'll know where your beef comes from and what it was fed. I've been to the ranch many times, and I personally know the family that raised the cattle. You know it's legit because I feed my family of 4 with this beef.
Same. Our family of 5 has had many meatballs, burgers, steaks, broths, and stocks, and all the delicious beefy meals with White Barn Wagyu. Check them out on whitebarnwagyu.com. Select cuts can be shipped nationwide. Bulk items can be delivered to Southern Arizona and Southern California. We'd like to thank our local and loved sponsor, Sage Yoga Studios in Bonsall and Fallbrook. Vanessa teaches yoga there, and it is tough and fulfilling and also speaks to your soul. Trust me, I've cursed her and praised her all in one class.
Sage is an inclusive yoga studio where all students can meet, learn, and grow. There's classes for meditation, restoration, for a good stretch, and a solid strengthen. For all our listeners in our area, check them out at sageyogastudios.com.